The last great Coliseum plays host to the final race of the regular season in the 2023 Integrity Octane Series season. It's going to be an exciting one, round 23 from Bristol, and it's going to come down to a bubble battle for the ages. Qualifying going to be underway with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the board. Nicholas Ward's the fastest man on the timing chart so far for our 250-lap race. Drivers are still taking times, and there's one driver sitting on the bubble with 11 locked in going into tonight. The final qualifying spot for the playoffs is still open, and a victory could steal any driver outside the cut line back into the picture. Caitlin Height going to come down to pit road. She's a multi-time winner. So is Tom Wetmore. Familiar faces, both winners and the drivers who do not have a checkered flag alike, and as it stands, there's over 20 drivers vying for a victory and several still looking for a chance to make it through into the final championship chase. The playoffs start next week, and you gotta get through tonight if you want to make it to the rest of the season and have a chance to come home with the biggest prize in Integrity Racing League history, a $2,000 sim rig courtesy of Next Level Racing. Great to have you all on FTN tonight. As always, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and as things get going here, it's Bristol yet again, and of course we've seen it in the Ignite Series. Some exciting racing there, tempers flaring, and overall a great showdown until the very end. Right now, with 1:37 still with qualifying in mind, not many drivers have taken the time so far relative to those who are still on the registry list. So a few drivers, and mainly those who are barely above on the cut line, they're there too, and it looks like Don Stevenson, Guillermo Alvarez, Jorge Canales, and of course Randy Fiash, Brad Patton, and Trevor Trago, the names at the back end of your timing and scoring ticker on the top of the screen. They've yet to go out so far, and drivers who are chasing a spot such as Kyle Cooper, Alan Rawell, and additionally Nicholas Ward, who up at the top side of the qualifying charts, they're all there. Ryan Farrell currently holds the final spot heading into the night, and he's fifth in qualifying. He's only 2 points ahead of the bubble, and it is a make or break time here in Bristol if he wants to make it through and get it done, perhaps winning a championship at season's end. It's Alan Dobbs 2 points back, Jorge Canales 22 back, and then it is Bobby Ross 53 points behind. Qualifying's effectively over here, so we'll get your starting grid in just a moment's notice. 16 drivers with the time so far. Tom Wetmore, the winningest driver this season, is one of which 2 drivers, now 3, with 3 victories. Jacob Fife joining that club just behind Seth Noel and Sam Nito. Cody Smith and Caitlin Height both have 2 wins apiece, and then it's Nick Tarbuck and Guillermo Alvarez, both with 1 win. Ross Cato, Don Stevenson, and Brad Patton are locked in on points coming out tonight. The only driver at jeopardy so far who's been in for the good majority of the season is Ryan Farrell. And as it stands, warm up one final time, 5 more minutes for drivers to get prepared. And with that in mind, how's about we get to our starting grid for tonight's event. Drivers roll off from the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway pit lane one more time before we get back to the racing action. Without further ado, your final grid of the regular season. The field is ready to take on the last great Coliseum, and the playoff picture stands and hangs in the balance of the results of this race. Without further ado, let's get right into your final starting grid of the regular season. This is round 23 from the Bristol Motor Speedway and the Octane Series. See Sam Nito, a 3-time winner, once again to the top of the board with a 14.497. Then it'll be Nicholas Ward in second with a 14.518, and the number 97 machine just ahead of his rival for the final playoff position in Alan Dobbs. Dobbs comes in tonight 2 points beyond the cut. He needs to make that up here and now. Starting third's a great way to do so. 14.521 for him, and from there Nick Tarbuck with a 14.521. Dead even, Alan Dobbs looks to get the tiebreaker on iRacing. Ryan Farrell is going to be fifth with a 15.54. Colin Gidman will be sixth with a 15.566, and Ross Cato, who's been oh so hot as of recent, barely able to lock himself in on points with a second half surge, puts himself in the 7th position with a 14.573. Then from from there, going to be Jacob Fife in the 8th spot with 14.586. Going to be Cody Smith then in 9th with a 14.629. And to round out your top 10, multi-time winner Caitlin Height able to scrape through the minimum participation requirement, making enough races to lock herself in to the championship battle. Height will start 10th with a 14.646. Then from there, Kyle Cooper going to be set in the 11th position with a 14.739. It'll be Seth Newell in the 12th spot, 14.751, and Alan Rawell then 13th with a 14.798. Tom Wetmore is going to be there in 14th, winningest driver this season with a 14.819, and Eric McFarland will round out the top 15 with a 14.917, just ahead of Bobby Ross, the final man to take a time, with a 15.121. Then from there, going to be Guillermo Alvarez scored in 17th, and Brad Patton then in 18th, as Trevor Trago finds the number 37 machine in the 19th spot, just ahead of his Wanted Dreams teammate who ran oh so well just a week ago at Texas, Brad Patton, who's the final driver locked in, heading into tonight. To round out the grid, the number 84 machine of Jorge Canales, an outside shot to make it through, starts 21st with Randy Fiash rounding out your grid, 22nd, and the final man on row 11. And that will be your starting grid for round 23 here from Bristol. Now, it's time to see what's going on back at the track. And many drivers taking laps here at Bristol, half-a-mile circuit, so it might look a bit more populated on the track, but only 11 drivers have set out to take times, the fastest of which so far is Nicholas Ward, backing up a very strong qualifying run already. But of course, there's a lot of racing laps to get through. It's not all about your qualifying position here at Bristol, and even though this is a relatively short race of only 125 miles or 250 laps, there's sure to be a lot of calamity as the night goes on, and Ward will drop it down a pit lane once again. Looks like he's going to get a few more adjustments in before he goes out for his final run, if there's even time. 1 minute and 15 seconds left on the board right now, and it looks like Ward is going to go in and out of pit road as opposed to going for a pit stop. Practicing pit speed here in the case you have a green flag run. That's a very important skill no matter the track, so Ward's going to take it into his own and get some time down on pit road, get accustomed to the speed. Heads up thinking there as we look back at Jorge Canales on pit road. He's going to be there just behind was Tom Wetmore. He comes right into the picture, and he'll drop down low the number 5 spot he's in. Tube Tech number 51, and this time it's a bit of a throwback. Looking at Ricky Craven's PPI Motorsports Chevrolet, that was actually a Pontiac in 2003, and now it's going to be the Tide Ride for Tom Wetmore as he looks to lock himself in by just showing up to the party. 4 wins on the season, and he's only run a part-time campaign to this point, so he's been very, very special this season, putting in great runs time after time. And I think that's going to be the continuation, of course, in the playoffs. Here at Bristol, not qualifying too well, but tonight, qualifying matters the most for one man. Nicholas Ward, outside looking in, wants to get it done, and it looks like right now he'll find himself scored in first here in second practice. It's going to be the number 97 pulling it through and winning the top slot here in warm-up. And there we have it. Practice has concluded, and all of a sudden the drivers are now getting warmed up for the final time. Now in full formation, Ward going to be on the outside front row, and Sam Nito right next to him going to be the man on pole. This is a much different scenario, of course, compared to many weeks and weeks we've seen before. Nicholas Ward, Sam Nito, both drivers who have been competitive, but for Sam, he's been able to make it happen later in races. And for Nicholas Ward, still not executing to get that race victory. Tonight could be the difference, though, and if he makes it in, he will be pushing a lot of drivers who have fought as hard right out of the frame. Only one spot up for grabs, and tonight it could go the way of the 97. It could go the way of, how about the 05? It could go the way of the 93 of Ryan Farrell. So many drivers have an opportunity to get this done, and tonight it looks like they're all here at one of NASCAR's shortest tracks, looking to duke it out head-to-head. 250 laps of racing, and it's going to be some of the most thrilling racing that we've seen all season long. The pace car's on its way, Sam Nito's going to roll out, and now we're getting on to the showdown here in the South. And as the drivers come through 2 by 2 one more time before the racing gets on its way, a lot of these drivers are locked into the field, so they do not have the same worry or fear of having something go wrong as opposed to those who are still looking on the outside in. Dobbs, Farrell, Nicholas Ward are the heavy hitters coming into tonight. Some outside favorites maybe Jorge Canales and Bobby Ross, or even Colin Gitman. If he makes the minimum participation requirement, we will check on that as the race goes on. Right now, those drivers who are on the outside of the picture, they need a perfect race. Their competitors are still around them. Farrell and Alan Dobbs almost entirely own that bubble line, and if those two have a good run, it's all but over for everyone else. If not, maybe there's a chance to go wide open, but a checkered flag would seal the deal no matter what. Sam Nito knows he's looking for number 4 to keep that momentum strong. Nicholas Ward just needs to break in for the first time and make it happen when it matters most. The iRacing official pace car will drop down to the inside line. Sam Nito low and Nicholas Ward high. The green flag's out for the final time of the regular season. It's Bristol, baby. We're back on our way. As the field comes through after lap number 1, it's going to be Sam Nito with a clear advantage over Nicholas Ward. Not too far behind, you'll see the remainder of the field single file until about Ryan Farrell. Then you'll see Ross Cato, Colin Gidman, Seth Well right there as well. And it looks like now they'll be barreling down to that straightaway side by side. Right now, Seth in the High Rock vodka machine, choosing to use that higher groove to his advantage. So trouble for Don Stevenson. He's already going to be 1 lap down. Looks like the start not the best for him, and he'll make his way down a pit road. No major damage, but it's still going to be big trouble for a driver already locked in. For Don Stevenson, this race not as big a deal. He'll already park the car and call it a night, and it looks like now only 21 drivers still racing, just looking to get that participation started, park it, and go from there. No big deal for Don's case, of course, but for a guy like Nicholas Ward, doesn't matter who gets unregistered for the session, doesn't matter who retires. It's all about winning, and nothing else is satisfactory. The points race is too tight between the drivers like Canales, Dobbs, and Farrell for Nicholas Ward to settle for anything else besides a race victory. Right now in second, the closest he's been all season long. There's a chance to keep it on the back bumper of Sam as the night continues, and that could be the biggest opportunity to chase that checkered flag when it's all said and done. So far, relatively calm throughout the entirety of the field, save from Seth Well and Tom Wetmore. Seth going to dive down to the bottom side yet again, and it looks like Tom Wetmore goes up high and will get the better of him. We've seen these two battle countless times before, but as it has been as of recent, these drivers have been battling in the middle of the field. Usually, if they're battling each other at the front, there's different strategies in play, some yellow flags that twist it up, and there's other drivers in the picture. We've seen several head-on-head battles between these two, head-to-head battles we should say, and they've given us some fantastic moments to look back on all season long. Wetmore's quick up high, he'll take Seth right there as well. Caitlin Height now going to be in the middle of the two dominators this season. Seth takes it to the top 2 and tries to work it again. Tom Wetmore continues to be his leader. And 11 laps in already, time has been flying up in front, and Sam Nito continues to lead the field clean and green. No trouble at the head so far. Nicholas Ward's going to stay in second with Nick Tarbuck then in third, but it is going to be a wiggle. Nicholas Ward goes down low, and it almost looks like he loses it on the back bumper of your race leader. That could have been trouble, but it's going to be avoided by both drivers with some expert avoidance in wrecking. Just like that, the race stays under green in what could have been the most jeopardizing situation all night long. Back on the move, 13 laps in as if nothing came of it. Now the drivers will take it down the front stretch back and forth all over again. The battle for the lead right now is a lot more significant early in the going than most battles we've seen all season long. We try here to look at every driver in the field, especially during a broadcast with so many laps. But right now, Nicholas Ward, his every move could impact the playoff situation, and if he makes a move up to the lead or ends up wrecked, we'd like to see what happens here and cover it moment by moment, because not too far behind, Alan Dobbs is fourth, Ryan Farrell is fifth. If Nicholas Ward does not win, this is the bubble situation as it stands. Dobbs and Farrell, these two drivers matter the most in the picture right now, and unless that 97 grabs the lead, this is where the battle is for the final playoff spot of the season. Nobody else would matter if these two stay conjoined to one another and stay on the track, especially in the positions they're in. So the situation stays the same. It's going to be Dobbs and Farrell going at it to the very end. So far, they're going to be conjoined to one another lap after lap. 17 going on 18, and it's going to be Farrell looking on the back bumper, Alan Dobbs with the advantage. He'll go down to the bottom side, though, and if Farrell gets that spot, it's all but automatically given to Ryan, short of a Nicholas Ward victory. Right now, though, he's still going to be fighting on the outside looking in, and that's not good at all, especially given the fact we have a stage break tonight. As always in the Integrity Octane Series, there's only one scheduled caution, and it will come out before the halfway point. Not too far before the halfway point, however, just enough to get back in the groove before we get the second half of the race. For tonight, here in the Bristol Motor Speedway, bringing up the information as it stands, our stage break tonight here will be at lap 100. So it's going to be 100 of 250 when we get that caution, and that will reset the field, bring them all down, most likely to pit road, as Eric McFarland's got trouble, and Eric's going to find himself down a pit road a bit premature. Looks like some right side damage for McFarland. He'll take it through and does not look to be retiring immediately. So with that in mind, we're going to try to get an instant replay here, find out what caused this incident, and take it back 30 seconds. Looking at Eric McFarland right now, you'll see up on the high side, then tries to keep it in the middle. Just looks like no control there. Not going to hit anything, but that's going to be compounding injuries that leave that number 33 down a pit road. Taking it back alive right now as it stands, he's going to be getting some service, and Sam Nito and Nicholas Ward continue to follow each other, flying by the grandstands. 24 going on 25 laps of 250. So far, these drivers are handling very well, and it looks like the pressure not getting to those who are involved in this playoff battle. Dobbs remains advantageous over Ryan Farrell. He cannot afford to have Gallon Gidman take a spot, but now Gidman's on that back bumper too, putting down the pressure, and it looks like Gallen's got a front row seat to the biggest story of tonight, whether or not it will be the 93 or the 05, making it all the way to the title race. Let's take a look on board here with Gallon Gidman and find out what's going on as he watches just ahead the fight for the final playoff spot. And it's growing more and more common in motorsport to see situations like this, the drivers spectating the fate of the championship weeks before the championship race is in full swing. Right now, Gidman right behind the most important battle on the track, and that's, of course, a very tricky situation to be in here. Whether or not he involves himself would be the difference between perhaps getting involved in a wreck, ruining these drivers and their chances, or possibly finding himself, of course, in a bit of a troublesome situation for his own chances. Perhaps next season. It has been a part-time championship run for the driver of the 04, not putting down a full-time campaign. However, as it stands for Gidman, he's been able to put some very good runs in, has some top 10 speed when he can pull it all together, so there is not a certainty of him being a winless driver next year, even if he hasn't gotten it done so far. You don't want to build that reputation as a driver as someone who gets involved and changes things. It might just happen to you. We've seen it in the real world. We've seen it in the virtual realm. It can happen and things will change very quickly. That's a look on board with Gallon Gidman as the Dobbs and Farrell battle now begins to intensify even further. Gidman's going to find himself himself way behind. Ryan Farrell finds himself right down low, and if Ryan gets this spot, he'll be all but locked in, tentatively to the playoffs in the 2023 season. Ryan takes it down to the bottom side. Alan Dobbs stays up high. They're side by side. Nothing comes of it, and now Tarbuck is fighting with Nicholas Ward. If Ward loses any more position, it's all but over when it comes to his championship chances, so trying to stay there with Nick as a lap machine of Bobby Ross gets involved. This is going to be bad news. Ward chops down low, gets right by the number 44, and now sets his sights once again on Nick Tarbuck just ahead. And it's a game of slicing and dicing right now. Up and down throughout the field, there's not a lot of room, and especially with close quarter situations at Bristol, you've got to mind the gap to lap machines that are in front of you. They could play a major part in how this race goes down, so if you interfere yourself with these drivers, you could find yourself on the short end of the stick very quickly. Tire fall off going to become a bit more dominant in the strategy of this race. Already it looks like Sam Nito, compared to his fastest lap of 14.693, he most recently ran a 15.436, so almost a second off the pace every lap, and that will come in to change the way this race is minute after minute, and it could see us going down to the 16-second lap times depending on how long these drivers opt to stay out. My estimations right now are showing us we'll see about 80 to 100 laps, of course, on the fuel and tire run. That's a bit rough, of course, given the stage caution, but that could be the difference between undercutting and going the distance and trying something different. This is the night where if you're a guy who's locked in, a driver at all who's locked in, you can try something, experiment, see what's going on with the strategy, because these stage cautions, they are constant. They're always around the same point of the race, no matter what, so you can try to do something different and see if it works out, and maybe you'll bring it along to the playoffs. But for drivers right now who are absolutely desperate, you don't want to do that. As Dobbs now begins to make a bit of a breakaway, Seth Noel is going to try to get himself in the middle of this battle and bring Colin Gidman right with. Gidman's going to find himself on the high side. Seth Noel is going to go right down low, and Seth's going to take it to the bottom side one more time, trying to take a peek back and forth on Dobbs as the 0-5 machine goes up high. Nicholas Ward now going to be far off in the third spot, 1 second away from Nick Tarbuck, and Tarbuck is quick. It looks like Nick has been able to put it all together as of most recent 10 laps, and going from a gap of over 1 second in distance now to only 0.3 of a second. It's going to be Tarbuck, the fastest man on the night so far, as he closes that gap further and further and makes it a bigger situation, the battle for the lead. 44 laps in, it's now under half a second once again. Seth Noel going to be right there, the number 9 machine taking it down to the bottom side on Nicholas Ward. So Seth is involving himself in the best of the best, and even though he did not get a strong qualifying run in, it looks like now the race pace is going to be more than enough to save him and put himself back on the map if he wants to fight for his 4th win of the season. 4 wins. He would have been already at that tally had it not been for a post-race penalty at Iowa Speedway, a restart violation, which gave the win to Nick Tarbuck, and that's Nick Tarbuck's sole win on the campaign. Now, Nick has been especially quick this season, multiple podiums racked up, so he'd be in no jeopardy even if he was not locked in on a victory, but Tarbuck is still chasing the chance to get it done at the checkered flag. Simply has not come to him so far, and as the season's gotten more and more developed, it's always competition, tough competition here in the Integrity Racing League, so it is nothing to be, of course, ashamed about not getting it done. He already has a win, and there's nothing else to really worry about, but I'm sure in the back of his mind there's still a feeling of wanting to get it done and knowing you have it the moment you cross the start-finish line for the final time. Here at Bristol, that satisfaction, I'm sure it's that much greater. This can be a grueling track, despite, of course, its size and shape. It might not be the most intimidating on the surface, but it can definitely wear into the driver's mind and their physique. It can be quite grueling, especially in the long term, making each and every turn, lap after lap, with no restraint, time after time, is absolutely challenging, more challenging than it may appear. And as it stands, how's about we go on board with Nick Tarbuck and the number 4 machine as we take a look on board with our second place driver. And as we watch Nick Tarbuck work it lap after lap, now he finds himself up ahead. You saw the pass there in real time, and now Nick finds himself with the race lead, navigating and commanding the field amidst major lap traffic. There's Rawell, and it looks like now there's going to be Jorge Canales side by side. They're going to go up to the high side and let Seth Noel go. So Seth's going to get a bit of an easier route here as they both go right up high, but that could have been even more troublesome as it looks like Sam goes back down to the low groove and tries to work it off of Tarbuck once again. 2 by 2 for the race lead, and once again it's going to be Sam Nito, your pole sitter, going for the top spot. At the line, looks like it's going to be a minor advantage to Nick Tarbuck, but Sam's once again got that bottom groove working, and now there's a chance he'll take it right back down to the bottom. Groove is set in stone. Sam Nito takes it right up high. No worry that time through, but it looks like he has lost a bit of the edge, especially giving away that clean air as the race leader. We talk about aerodynamics, of course, with these cars, and at short tracks, they don't matter as much per se, but there's a different sense of aerodynamics, especially with this next-gen car and its package. Very different in terms of how it works with air. There's a diffuser now on these car shades of open wheel machinery, so it's a much more different beast compared to something like the Gen 6 or the car of tomorrow, so you have to treat it differently. Air means an awful lot. If you're the leader, you can pull away with that clean air, and it looks like right now for Sam Nito, that's exactly what he's seeing right in front. Now Sam's going to go up to the top side here, facing some troubles with some tire wear, trying to get a run up high side to get back up there, but it will not work that time through. He's going to get even higher on the track as Seth Noel is now right there on the back bumper. It could become the number 9 machine, getting down low, making that pass. Hasn't been able to do so far, and it looks like actually that time Sam gained his time back, and the high side, it's coming in for him, developing the groove as the night goes on. You might have noticed the sun is setting here at Bristol, and things are changing. The weather will continue to change until the night is over. Expecting full nighttime sky by the final laps of this race. We're going to see a much different track condition. Stadium lights will be on. It's going to be much different in terms of the lighting here, and every other condition should be changing as well, which means that Tarbuck might be adapting a bit better as the night goes on, as opposed to Sam Nito, who was especially quick during the sunnier hours of the session. Now, as things change, maybe that's just not the case, and that's going to be the difference between a winning car and a losing car. If you can adapt better as the night goes on, you're certainly going to see it, and you are going to see it in, of course, the numbers, feeling it through the car. It's a lot of different senses that come together, and right now, Nick Tarbuck, that time by 1/10 of a second quicker than Sam Nito. It was a 15.659 this time through, as opposed to a 15.854, so now a 2/10 of a second gap each and every lap. That is big news for Nick Tarbuck as he continues to pull away. Now he'll be able to build a gap and have lap cars as buffers as the number 4 goes down low yet again. And how about this battle up at the front of the field? Of course, now going to be a bit more calm with Nick Tarbuck in full control, but the battle between Ryan Farrell and Alan Dobbs, that's going to be something to watch. Farrell is fading back, and all of a sudden, Alan Dobbs has a big chance to come through and seal the deal. He's in 4th right now, would claim more stage points than, of course, Ryan Farrell in 9th, and this could be the difference between Dobbs making it in and being left out at the end of this race. 69 laps in, and this is a very nice run for Dobbs to this point, doing exactly what needs to be done if he wants to make it through all the way into the playoffs. Right now, of course, with that major advantage, he can cruise it a bit more, a lot less stress in that number 05's cockpit as Gidman and Jacob Fife go side by side. This would be for the 5th position. Colin Gidman remains up top there, has not been able to shake Jacob Fife. But Fife definitely getting closer and closer time after time. Just has not been able to make it happen. Gidman's having a very good top 5 night. Jacob Fife, of course, who's been on a roll as of recent, trying to get himself back in victory lane again. But it looks like for now, the 36 has been held off, and it'll be Colin Gidman holding his own final position inside of the top 5. They'll go through once again, 72 laps in out of 250. Your expected stage caution will come at lap 100, which is the only break that is scheduled for all of these drivers. And so far, they have been flying through the opening laps, 73 of which have gone by without any issue, and that's great to see and great to hear for the drivers who are looking to make it happen later in the race. You do not want to tear apart your equipment, especially in the early going. Bristol, if it's torn apart, it's going to take an awful lot to get it back in working order. So looks like it's going to be that way for now. Calm and collected as the drivers make it in line yet again to go for lap 75. Nick Tarbuck leads by a second and a half, and it looks like the closest battle on the racing circuit will involve Caitlin Height and Ross Cato. Caitlin Height, who is one of the drivers locked into the playoffs here in the Octane Series, multi-time winner, has put down some very solid and successful runs this season, but once again, finding herself in the middle of the pack. Returning a little late after the summer break, there's a caution out, and this looks to be for Bobby Ross, and that's going to be the first yellow of the day. Bobby Ross is going to go around, and we have ourselves a caution, 77 laps in, out of 250. Let's take a look back and find out what happened with an FTN instant replay. Now, let's take a look. And Ross going to be on the bottom side of the track there. Just looks like not a lot of control for the most part. And then looks like he went down to the bottom, tries to keep it straight, and comes right back up. Bobby Ross going to go around, and just like that, Ross Cato, Brad Patton, some minor damage with the wall. Nothing all too serious, but still going to be a big change in the order here as we find ourselves in our first break of the day. Like that, yellow flag is out for the very first time here in Bristol. And as we take a look at the field, they've not yet gone down to pit road except for the leaders. Sam Nito, Nick Tarbuck, they'll lead the field in. And just like that, we've got ourselves a pit road race for the first time today. Tarbuck gonna find himself going through the first pit stall. You've gotta make it through the first row of stalls then to get to your own. So the leaders are doing just that, and now they're gonna make it into their stalls. It's going to be the first pit road race of the night, and it's going to be headed, of course, by Nick Tarbuck. Sam Nito not too far behind, and Alan Dobbs, Colin Gidman, and Kyle Cooper are right behind too. Now, for the first run through pit road for the first time tonight, indeed. Let's see who makes it out first as we take a look at our pit road exit camera. As we come through this time by, leaders are still going to be firmly in, and it looks like Nick Tarbuck makes it out ahead of Sam Nito, Alan Dobbs, Gallon Gidman, Jacob Fife, and Nicholas Ward come through side by side, and in addition, you'll see the remainder of the field. Now it's going to be Brian Farrell, 9th, Brad Patton then in 10th, going to be Cody Smith in 11th, and Ross Cato going to be in 12th, with Caitlin Height 13th and Tom Wetmore 14th. Guillermo Alvarez will round out the top 15, with the rest of your field coming through moments after. Now, with control moments before we get to the stage break, it's going to be Seth Well up at the top of the board. Number 9 machine leads the way and finds himself ahead just in front of former race leaders Nick Tarbuck and Sam Nito. Great pit cycle, of course, for Tarbuck and Nito, but for Seth Noel, he's holding on until the stage break here. So it looks like 80 laps. The first prediction comes through, and now for Seth Noel, he's looking to fulfill the second of which, going all 100 laps before we get to our first stage break, only stage break really, and then go from there. But a nice and smooth original 80 laps, and as it stands, it looks like now the number 9 is up in front. Gonna be 1 lap to green this time through. Now Nick Tarbuck's up high. Alan Dobbs finds himself on the top side too, with Sam Nito right down low. You'll see Gallon Gidman and Nicholas Ward there as well, and all these drivers come together to make it happen as the top 5's arranged, and the rest of the field is too. Coming in this time by, it's going to be Seth Well, your race leader. Nick Tarbuck chasing another. He's up there on the high side, and we're ready to get back at it moments before your stage break. First restart of the day, led by Seth Well. Let's get right back at it once again. Green flags out for the first restart here in the last great Coliseum. And as he comes across the line, Nick Tarbuck's going to find himself up ahead of the field once again. Alan Dobbs, though, will make it up to second, and this could be the nail in the coffin for Ryan Farrell. Dobbs makes all the big moves and now finds himself at the front, second place. The stage points could be the difference between coming through with the final playoff spot and not being in the dance at all. This is major. Now going to be on the high side, chasing the race lead. This could be the moment, and it looks like for Dobbs, he'll go there once again. Up and down, it's going to be the number 05, Alan Dobbs. He's going to take it from Nick Tarbuck. They're side by side, but no longer. Now Dobbs is clear and looks for a stage win. 86 laps in. He's only got to hold off the field for 15 more, and then he's set to go all the way. Coming through this time by, it's going to be Alan Dobbs, your race leader. Looking further back, the battles are fierce with Ryan Farrell fighting for a top 5 spot. Now Farrell's got it, and he'll take it down to the low line on Jacob Fife, trying to make the move as quick as he can, but he'll get very loose, and Caitlin Height will send him deep. It looks like it will be Ryan Farrell saving it until there's contact, and just like that, Ryan Farrell loses all the track position, and now another wrench in the equation. Caution's out for the second time, and we have trouble. Ryan Farrell involved in it. Let's find out just what happened here as Farrell is sent into the corner here by Caitlin Height, and that changes everything once again. And you'll see the number 11 finishing off the loose Ryan Farrell. Farrell drifts up the track and does a great job at controlling it to this point, but Tom Wetmore comes into the frame and tags him. Nowhere to go there, and that's going to send Farrell spinning. And after almost 80 clean laps of racing, we're set to have 3 cautions within the next 25 laps. Ryan Farrell, big time loss of track position. His playoff rival Alan Dobbs leads the way, and just like that, after the caution is thrown back in the air, Ryan Farrell's back in 15th, and Alan Dobbs is there up in front, leading the way 90 laps in out of a total of 250. How about the change? Now Dobbs has the biggest opportunity of his season. Getting the stage win here, the bonus stage points, it would be game-changing. And right now, there's nothing in Dobbs' way, short of course, the drivers facing him off as well. You'll see right now, Nicholas Ward, who looks to be 2 laps down, is right behind. No threat, but Nick Tarbuck and Colin Gidman absolutely are. They're all looking for the same thing, extra points. Even if Colin Gidman's not running for the championship, a stage win is a stage win, and it's major all the same. For Dobbs, it might be the make or break moment of the season, but for all the other drivers, it's still extra points, and they don't want to miss out. Like it or not, it's going to be a fierce battle until we get to the end of this stage at lap 100. And now we come through once again. Drivers on pit road include Ryan Farrell, looks like Randy Fiash, Jorge Canales, Eric McFarland, and Bobby Ross. As the field comes around yet again, it looks to be only 2 laps until the green flag flies once more, and it will be Dobbs down low, Nick Tarbuck set to go high, and then from there you'll see Cody Smith, Trevor Trago, Jacob Fife, Brad Patton with Colin Gidman now scored in 3rd. Top 10 is rounded out by Caitlin Height, Tom Wetmore, and Ross Cato. Only 1 retiree so far tonight in Don Stevenson. Looks like Bobby Ross 9 laps down, Jorge Canales 7 laps down, so is Eric McFarland. Randy Fiash is 2 down, and Nicholas Ward, Ryan Farrell both 1 lap down. Dobbs, of all the drivers who are still hopeful for the final playoff spot, not only leads the race, but is on the lead lap. The difference is clear, and now he's got to execute. 93 in, out of 250. Time to make it happen for Alan Dobbs as the green flag will fly in just 1 lap. Green's out for Dobbs. Nick Tarbuck right there, and we'll get to lap 100, hopefully in one piece. Green flag gonna fly for the second restart of the day. It's gonna be led by Alan Dobbs, Nick Tarbuck right there up top, and Colin Gidman there low. It could be the return of Dobbs up in front, looking for a stage win here in Bristol. Let's get right back at it. Green flag will fly for restart number 2 on the day, led by Alan Dobbs. And Dobbs going to be able to make it clearly a race lead. 95 laps in, he's got himself out in front. Cody Smith going to jump to an unexpected 3rd place. The best Smith has looked all night long, and now finds himself ahead of juggernauts like Jacob Fife, Caitlin Height, and Colin Gidman. Brad Patton going to be right there too, and Patton's going to be side by side with Trevor Trago for a moment. Trago's going to be able to get back down low, but Brad Patton gets the advantage and does keep the position just ahead. It's a gaggle of cars, double file, multiple rows deep, but the front of the field gets away once again. 1/10 of a second separates your top 2 drivers, with Tarbuck going right down low, and Dobbs continuing to defend his top position. 98 laps in out of a total of 250, and Tarbuck goes down low, dives deep, once again, goes right back up high, and shoots himself to the bottom in the corners each and every opportunity. Now looking even closer to getting it done, but it's going to be Dobbs defending lap 99 of 250. He's got the edge and will come down to the line with only 1 lap to go in the stage. Make or break. Alan Dobbs gets it to the line. White flags out for the stage here. The only stage break of the day. Make it triple digits as Dobbs leads. Tarbuck's right there as well. Puts the bumper to him. Tarbuck is going to try to charge it up at the final moment. And at the line, Dobbs has the edge. And it's just enough to hold on. At the line, Alan Dobbs is your stage winner and picks up all the bonus points he needs, potentially to come home into the playoffs on just this moment. Dobbs wins the most important stage of the season, and all of a sudden the playoff picture shifts that much more. And now, with the stage out of the way, relatively clean overall, it's now the bigger picture. Dobbs leads. It's going to be Nick Tarbuck then in second, and Cody Smith to round out your podium. We'll be right back with a leader interview, your stage winner interview in Alan Dobbs. But before we do that, we'll get your first Next Level Racing promotional break of the day. Next Level Racing provides high-quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. If you're inclined to join the sim racing community or up your game, visit nextlevelracing.com for more information. We'd love to have you join their elite range of products and become a member of the Next Level Racing family, proud partner of the Integrity Racing League. Pit stops underway here in Bristol, and we'll be right back after the following message, courtesy of our friends at nextlevelracing.com. Dobbs falls back on the pit cycle here to make some big gains and getting it done, overall winning the first and only stage of the day and collecting some big time stage points. We're going to get a word with your stage winner here and now. Alan Dobbs comes through and gets it done 105 laps in out of 250. Dobbs winning perhaps the biggest stage of the season, collecting some crucial bonus points. Now it looks like the championship race might be in your favor to get that final spot. How do you feel here from Bristol?
Well, I feel a lot better after that stage for sure, but anything can happen here. You know, it's kind of one of those wild card races, and if there's a new winner, I get booted out anyway. So we don't know. We're just going to try to stay in it, try not to die. Maybe we'll have a shot at the win. Who knows?
And still looking to get that chance at victory, of course. Getting a lot done there. Looks like one lap to green already. So anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, not right now. Just got to get back focused. Appreciate you, buddy.
Now Dobbs going to be back on the way. Quick interview there is pit road. Going to be very quick. And we'll be back on the move just like that. Dobbs, the stage win, as crucial as it gets. And coming back to the green flag at lap 107, it's going to be Tom Wetmore up high. Ross Cato, your race leader. And now time to see what these two have in store for each other as the green flag will fall this time by to get us back on the move here in your second stage. Back to the green flag for the first time here in stage 2. Wetmore gets the jump, and we're back underway from the last great coliseum. Wetmore gets the jump on the field, exactly what he needs, and just like that, Tom Wetmore is going to find himself up in front, advantageous over Seth Well and Cody Smith. Smith has been coming in very good in the last few laps. Looks like he was one of the fastest drivers coming in the stage break, and now getting a chance to put that pace on full display. He'll go up to the high side once more, trying to make something happen up top. Then it looks like it gets one spot immediately. Now we'll see what it can do for him from this point onward. Leading the field, it is going to be Seth Noel for the first time tonight under green. Then for there, you are going to see, not too far behind, it's going to be Nick Tarbuck, also battling at the same time. Drivers side by side further on back. The big driver so far, it's going to be Cody Smith, who leads the way. Kyle Cooper right there. Brad Patton in the mix as well. And they're all slicing and dicing for spots here as they continue to battle. 111 laps in, coming to lap 112. It's been tight all night long, and it looks like that's going to stay that way with Tom Wetmore wiggling big, and Wetmore's nearly going to go around. Just like that, Tom Wetmore almost falls out of contention and keeps it straight right behind Kyle Cooper and Brad Patton. Side by side, it looked to be a big wiggle, but nothing is going to come of it. It looks like it's going to be all good for the driver of the 51. Up in front, it looks like Dobbs is going to be fighting side by side with Trevor Trago, and the Trago machine going to take it down to the bottom groove yet again. Nothing going to come of it so far. Trago going to go right down low, and it looks like now with 114 laps on the board, it's going to be some door banging. Looks like Trevor Trago's in trouble. Trago going to keep it straight, but almost loses it all, and just like that, fades further back in the field, battling fiercely with Alan Dobbs, who needs every spot he can get, and Trago now going to be on the short end of the stick, immediately recovering to get right in front of Sam Nito. Nito going to be 17th right now and one lap down, so after, of course, being your pole sitter for this race, not much has gone well since then. Luckily for him, locked into the playoffs, so this does not impact him in any major way, and he'll be able to recover next time we go racing, and it looks like it will be at the virtual Darlington Raceway when we get back at it for 184 laps from the track to Tough to Tame. Looking still at the head of the field, it looks to be Cody Smith, and Smith has it up in front of Ross Cato as the caution flies, this time for Dobbs, and it looks like Trevor Trago. Now there's some trouble. Let's take a look back. This might be something major. Lap machine of Trevor Trago, but it doesn't make sense at the moment. We'll find out what happened here. Trago flied by, but I don't think it's any revenge. Let's find out. Dobbs going to be on the bottom here with Jacob Fife and Caitlin Height. It looks like for now, Dobbs keeps it low. And then off a corner, definitely just getting loose and comes right back up. Gets involved with Kyle Cooper and Caitlin Height. Big contact there. And yes, Trago does drive by, but not going to be involved at all. Caution is now going to fly, and it looks like now Big trouble for Dobbs, getting loose off the corner, fighting it side by side, and despite that incident, the damage on the front end is not major, which is surprising to say the least, but it could be the difference once again between making it through and being out of the show. Dobbs now going to be there on the top of your screen, taking it through each and every corner once more, but this could be it, as we'll see drivers coming back down to pit road. Namely, it looks like Ross Cato just went through, and Dobbs will be there as well, as the back half of the field opts to go back in. You'll see Ryan Farrell there as well, so there's still a chance for these two to be connected, as they'll come down to pit road and now set themselves up for another stop, as we are under caution for the fourth time tonight here at lap 120. Cody Smith leads the way. Colin Gidman's going to be second, and Seth Wells going to be third, with Nick Tarbuck then fourth, and Jacob Fife position number 5. Brad Patton holds his own in the 6th spot, with Nicholas Ward then 7th, and Guillermo Alvarez will be there in 8th, with Trevor Trago 9th. Alan Rawell's in 10th, and Sam Needle will be 11th, with Caitlin Height now to round out the dozen, as multiple drivers right behind her go to pit road, namely Dobbs, Farrell, and Kyle Cooper. Come through this time by Cody Smith out in front, leads the way 121 laps in at a 250. And as they come through this time by, it is Cody Smith leading the way, Colin Gidman there second, and Seth Well then in third. Nick Tarbuck going to be fourth, with Jacob Fife fifth, as we return back to the action. Some trouble for Ryan Farrell and, of course, his adversary in the championship fight to get into the playoffs, Alan Dobbs. Both drivers experiencing some trouble early in the going. Of course, more recent once again for Dobbs, but now as they look to get back on the move, still more than half the race ahead of us. But the first 122 have flown by, 75 laps under green consecutively, but then from there we've seen a bit of trouble after our first incident with Bobby Ross. It's been a bit more risky on the track, and now that might be the norm as drivers set a different tone later and later into the going. It is still going to be Cody Smith leading, Colin Gidman there right behind, and Seth Well then in third, with Nick Tarbuck fourth. Kyle Cooper looks to be out of the cockpit and might be retired for the day, so another driver fading out of the racing. Kyle Cooper in some trouble, 2 laps down, opts to get out of the seat, and it looks like that will be Kyle's night. Coming to the line this time through for lap 124. Cody Smith down low, looking as quick as ever. Colin Gidman up high, and just like that, it's going to be the front row for your 4th restart. Green flag will fly yet again halfway in just 2 laps time. We're back under green. Gidman going to fade back in the third there, with Seth Well making some major moves up in his second. You'll see right now as the racing gets closer and closer to the end, drivers are getting a bit more close to one another. Side-by-sides become quite frequent. Of course, we're seeing some drivers rub up on one another. Right now, as they do so, it's going to get dicier and dicier until it's all over. Drivers now trying to maintain grip as nighttime Bristol is in full effect. You'll see the stadium lighting is on, the sunlight is all but out of the drivers' eyes, and of course, their minds. Now they're adapting to a new style of racing, nighttime driving, and it is certainly different. As it stands, it looks like Cody Smith has adapted himself the best, and Seth Well not too far behind. They'll be side by side if Seth keeps up his pace, but for now, it's Cody out in front. As we look off the deck lid of the number 18 machine of Cody Smith, he's still leading this race, and ever since we got back on the move after lap 100, he's been the dominant man in controlling this one. From this point onward, maybe he'll come through his 3rd win of the season. That's, of course, the end goal for Cody, but there's a lot of drivers who are hungry as ever to take that opportunity away from him. Up and down the ladder, you'll see talent like Seth Well, Brad Patton, who's now charging once again, and Patton, who was especially close to his first win of the season last week at Texas, is now back in the frame. Cody still has the race lead though, and with 131 laps in the books, he's gone this far. It looks like he's still got a ways to go. 120 laps left here. Trevor Trago gonna dive it deep and try to take a spot. He's now got it low on Nick Tarbuck, and it looks to be good enough to make a fight for it. Now with the lower line, he'll try to make the pass. It's the difference between distance and momentum now, and some drivers are preferring, of course, the bottom side. Others, they're trying to take it up to the top, and that's the way it looks to go with drivers choosing their groove. It's not always the same. Right now, things are absolutely going to be different. Some drivers have it down low, some drivers have it on the top side. Things change, and most of the time at Bristol, things don't stay the same, so it's almost a given. As they come along, this time by the driver, the number 18, Cody Smith, finds himself up in front, and there's some battling right behind. Nicholas Ward all of a sudden has speed, and Ward will go down to the bottom side to try to take second. Unbelievable. It looks like now it's going to Nicholas Ward making his moves and finds himself now just behind your race leader. This is major because once again, if Nicholas Ward grabs that lead, which he nearly does, he'd be the man who's locked in no matter what happens right behind him. Ward drives it down to the bottom side, has the lead, doesn't have it at the line unless he gets a big surge here, and he's going to try for it at the line. Nicholas Ward is right there, but Cody Smith barely holds on. All of a sudden, Ward is back as a driving force up to the front of the field, and now he is clear. Nicholas Ward through turns 3 and 4 will lead for the first time at Bristol, and all of a sudden slams the door shut. He's now locked in, and he'll have to keep it this way for 113 more laps if he wants to make it into the playoffs. Now, for a driver like Ryan Farrow or Alan Dobbs, this is an unsettling feeling, and all of a sudden, now it looks like it's going to be the pressure and the reality setting in for each and every one of those sitting behind. Nicholas Ward now has a chance. He's eligible to make it happen, but the point situation, not as good as he'd liked it to be. Leading at Richmond, internet disconnection, several disconnections over the season, and it has been a discussion, what can Ward do to make it back and alleviate the troubles that he's had all year long? A victory here and now would absolutely do all that and then some. Right now, he's getting everything out of this number 97 that is necessary. With 110 laps remaining, this could be the moment as Nicholas Ward, lap after lap, continues to claw down the driver ahead. Now Tom Wetmore is going to be in his clutches. Wetmore looking to go one lap down, and he'll be in position number 16 right now, getting, of course, closer and closer to being put off the lead lap. Now the battle persists between Seth Well and Jacob Fife. Brad Patton, Colin Gidman right there too, and with Gidman running oh so well too, he could be a spoiler. The thing about Colin Gidman's campaign though, he has not run the minimum participation requirement through and through. He would be a winner, but he would not change the status quo. Nicholas Ward would not be put in, and it would instead go down either Ryan Farrell or Alan Dobbs, and right now, bar official calculation, it's going to be neck and neck. Dobbs would need to make up every single spot he could, and it looks like for now, that will be unlikely. He finds himself very far off the driver's ahead like Sam Nito, so it could come down to whether or not Nicholas Ward decides to slam the door overall. Now the 97 being so far ahead has no trouble in making that pass. Lap after lap, he's working on lap machines now, and guys like Gidman and Brad Patton are not in his mind, as Brad Patton's going to scrape the wall, and now finds himself in a bit more trouble with guys like Seth Well and Jacob Fife all flying by at the same time. Just like that, big changes for the drivers up in front of the field. 104 laps to go. It's going to be led now by Nicholas Ward, a driver coming in tonight who was outside of the playoff bubble. But now, that's not the case at all. As a matter of fact, he's the man in, and he would bump every other driver out of the fray. There have been several walk-off winners as of recent, namely, of course, not to mention Guillermo Alvarez, who got it done with a fantastic victory just a few weeks ago. Of course, there was Nick Tarbuck, only one win, Caitlin Heights, Cody Smith, and guys like Ross Cato, Don Stevenson, and Brad Patton making the best of it as of recent, and now going right down to the low lane, you're going to see it's Jacob Fife down low, Colin Gibbon up high, and Brad Patton there too. They were 3 down for a moment, but now going to be side by side yet again. Up and down throughout the field, 100 laps remaining, coming out of the double digits this time through. It's all about what's left for these drivers looking ahead, as some of these guys have been on their stints for over 70 laps. Colin Gibbon has been in his tire set for 73 laps, and that is sure to make it a lot more troublesome as the night goes on, especially under green. A green flag run will shred these tires here in Bristol, and that looks to be the case right now for Gibbon, who fought as hard as he could oh so long. But now it does not look to be working out. Just like that, it looks like Colin Gibbon continues to fade a bit further away, and now he'll have to make something happen later in the going, maybe off strategy, maybe off raw pace, but he's now going to be fighting side by side with Nick Tarbuck. Tarbuck takes it right down low, and it looks like he will get the edge as they make it by once again. And just like that, it's been big changes. 96 laps to go. 97 to Nicholas Ward leads, and it's going to be now Seth Nwell going down low, and he's looking to change the picture. If Seth Nwell were going to grab the lead as he's gotten oh so close, it would bring both Farrell and Alan Dobbs back in the picture. Now Dobbs has scored in 16th. It looks like Ryan Farrell's in 11th. The playoff points might alleviate the distance, but that is still a big change. Of course, for Dobbs right now, not the best spot to be in either way, but if Seth Nwell were to get that lead back, it could be an opportunity despite all the troubles he's faced. Now, it looks like Seth's closer than ever and trying to make a shot happen. It just looks like a shot in the dark right now with the defense that Nicholas Ward is playing, knowing that this is the most important race for his campaign as well. Seth now sees pressure from Jacob Fife, and as we have the battle for the lead getting more and more intense, let's ride on board with the number 36 of Jacob Fife. And right now, even though Fife is laying back, he's got all that air going down low that these two drivers going up and down playing cat and mouse don't have. Nicholas Ward was having the advantage before, but now it looks like that won't be the case. After so many laps up in front, Seth Nwell now looks much quicker, and the thing about Seth Nwell right now is that he has a much older set of tire. Now that is much different from Jacob Fife. Fife's on the same age tire as Nicholas Ward, but it looks like now Ward having some trouble letting that leader go can make things much harder in terms of defense. Seth got by. Now the rest of the field knows they can too. Jacob Fife is going to take it in on the bottom side. He's got that number 97 all the way up high, and that's the worst place to be right now as Ward continues to drop down the totem, and it looks like he will be losing second in a moment's notice. Bobby Ross going to be there too, and it looks like Bobby will be split 3 as Nicholas Ward gets away from the situation. Almost looked like a disconnection, but that was incredibly close between every driver involved. Luckily, does not involve any other drivers, of course, in an incident, but that could have been major if something were to go wrong. Now, nothing comes of it, but as it stands, it's trouble, and it could have been a major wreck. All the same, now the number 36 machine goes right down low. 97 of Nicholas Ward goes high, but it looks like now Ward going to be shuffled by not one but 2 drivers at once. Going to be a combination with 85 laps to go. And now Fife gets by for second. Tarbuck going to be there for third. And Nicholas Ward is now going to be fading back into fourth. Caitlin Height right there too. So all of these drivers really working with each other time after time. Alan Dobbs 1 lap down. And look at the damage. It's gotten worse. And now the 0-5 of Dobbs has no front end at all. And you can see Stu trying to wrestle that in the end. This is serious for Dobbs. And it could be the end. After getting that stage victory and then getting involved with that incident, it looked like he'd still have enough to power through. But now he's 2 laps down, and Ryan Farrell has jumped up into 8th. Nothing more that you can do right now except for trying to hold on, but it's going to be trouble here for Dobbs, knowing that Randy Fiash is coming up, and Fiash on the same lap has a cleaner car. He's still driving despite the fact he's 2 laps down, and this could be another hurdle in the way of Alan Dobbs, who at one point looked to have it all said and done, but as he said previously, things could change and anything could happen. And now, with Seth Well leading, a returning winner, Jacob Fife there, while it might not be Nicholas Ward bumping every driver out with 80 laps to go, it could be another circumstance. And that would be, of course, if these drivers race each other the way they have all night long, it could come down to, of course, a long green flag run, and that would be the advantage for Ryan Farrell. Farrell, who's been above the cut line all season long, though he's got a lot to look forward to. He's been up there on that bubble race after race, night after night, week after week. And for Farrell, he was very close to being eliminated entirely last week at Texas in a lap 1 wreck that cost him everything. All his spots, all of his opportunity at getting anything more, and he will get the caution he needs with Cody Smith now right at the pit barrier. Trouble for Cody Smith. Caution is out. And we're going to take a look back here at Cody Smith with some trouble in the number 18. Looks like not able to hold on to it any longer, and with 77 laps remaining, as much as he tried to keep it going, it looks like nothing more he could do. Cody Smith now going to be involved with another yellow, 5th of the day. Looks like Dobbs right there, and with Dobbs, it looks like Bobby Ross tries to get away from the ailing 05. Then Cody Smith spun, but that's going to be very close to call too, so we'll take it back 15 more seconds and try to see whether or not Dobbs made contact or if it was just Bobby Ross. So you'll see, looks like Ross going to be in the middle of 3, no contact. He goes low, Cody Smith tries to come high, and as a result they wreck right in front of the 05. And Cody Smith gets the worst of it, clipping multiple times the pit road wall. And the yellow flag will come out with 76 laps remaining. And the caution out yet again. It looks like pit road already going to be back to the action. And as we take a look here, you'll see drivers making it through the first pit road onto the second. That's the way it is here at Bristol. This configuration allows the drivers to go through both pit stalls, and that's the way they'll have to go through. Pit road going to be busy once again with leaders all on their way. Nicholas Ward going to be right there just ahead of Sam Nito, but Sam gets that pole position slot, and now it's time to find out who's got what it takes. Already one driver on the way. That looks to be Seth Well, and he will get out just ahead of Nick Tarbuck, Jacob Fife, Nicholas Ward, Ross Cato, Caitlin Height, then Trevor Trago with Ryan Farrell, Guillermo Alvarez, Colin Gidman, and then Tom Wetmore. Wetmore going to be just outside of the top 10, and to follow him, it looks to be the driver of the number 1, Brad Patton, and Alan Rawell there too. 75 laps to go, and pit road is still busy. Damaged drivers, damaged cars coming all through, and now they're getting set up for another run. Nick Tarbuck now going to be second to Seth Well, looking to make it happen right behind, and Seth, who has not been dominant all day long, now has a chance to make it a bit different and flip the script, so to speak. He's now right up in front with that track position, but taking a look back, there's a lot of drivers to look out for. Nick Tarbuck led earlier in this race. He has been very good all night long, and if there's an opportunity, I'm sure he'll take it to try to get back to that race lead and make it happen all over again. For Jacob Fife, he has been on a hot streak as of recent. 2 of his 3 wins have came since our summer break, and he has been one of the best drivers ever since that break. Now looking to get another win to tie Tom Wetmore with 4 on the season. And Nicholas Ward, who's been up and down, but when he's on, he is on. Maybe this is the run that solidifies his chances at a championship chase. He's right there, just behind your leader, and this could be calamity with so many scenarios, so many drivers in so many different positions, all in the picture. One more time, chasing the title. Now, the playoff picture looking to be set in just 73 laps time. make it 72 to go. The iRacing official pace car comes down to him, this time by, and the green flag flies all over again. Seth Well leads the way and gets a clear, blinding start. And Seth going to be able to keep that one with Nick Tarbuck right behind. Nicholas Ward and Jacob Fife going to be right there too. And you'll see the battle now going to be between Ryan Farrell and Colin Gidman for position number 6. Now, if Ryan Farrell can lock up the top 5, it looks to be solidified that he would be the man that gets through into the playoffs. And it looks like, as it stands, the driver of the number 93 has a much better shot at making it through. He'll lose a few spots to Trago and Wetmore as he gets loose and into the wall. Now Ryan Farrell has damage, and when it looked to be the best situation, Ryan Farrell fades back big, and now it's fair game all over again. Ryan Farrell now finds himself behind Dobbs on track and only 2 spots ahead. After a position of course, being locked in momentarily, it changes once again. 68 laps to go, and all of a sudden, Ryan Farrell now is going to be in a worse spot than ever, and it looks like getting loose is going to have its consequences. Let's take a look back and try to find out what happened. It looks like Farrell simply not able to keep control, and we'll look once again. Contact, nothing there, but as we watch at half speed, we'll take a look at every moment. Once again, it looks to be the number 93, the most trouble. Trevor Trago right beside as well. And this could be the difference between Ryan Farrell's chances, as we'll take it down for just a moment and bring you right up to the moment of the incident. As we take it through, getting it up here with Wetmore right beside, it just looks like Farrell gets loose on his own, and that's going to cost him big time. Ryan Farrell now finds himself out of touch. 15th place, and going to be right behind Alan Dobbs on track. Nicholas Ward leads, and all of a sudden that's going to be out of the picture once again. Nicholas Ward's at the top spot, and just like that, all that we just saw might not be anything. It might not mean all too much, that is. Now Nicholas Ward has the top spot, just took it from Seth Well. You're watching the instant replay to show you the battle. Seth dives it deep, but it's Nicholas Ward with the exit, and that's what matters most. Just like that, another driver's inside the best position to be, and all of a sudden Nicholas Ward has the advantage. He leads by 1 second, and after such a big blunder there for Ryan Farrell, it might not matter, and it's neutralized again. It's now Nicholas Ward in the best position to get it done. He finds himself leading, and with 61 laps remaining, it is Ward up in front. Unbelievable changes, and all of a sudden it is going to be Ward with the best spot in the house. First place, 60 laps to go to wrap up his first career victory in the Octane Series, and this could be the moment of truth that locks him into the playoffs for a chance to fight for the championship. Now, the rest of the field is what he'll have to wait on to see whether or not that's truly the case. 59 laps to go. Jacob Fife going to be there with Trevor Trago, and you'll see Trago go right down low. Jacob Fife going to be right there with, and it looks like Fife going to have to get away from the top 5 for the moment, as Trago just quick enough to take it right back. Side by side, it looks like Trevor Trago was able to take it through, and now Trago has that advantage. Maybe no turning back here for the 37 as he continues to build up a chance at a podium. Colin Gidman getting right ahead, and Gidman's ran the best race of his season so far. A part-time campaign, as we mentioned, but whenever that driver, the 04, has speed, it will show. The biggest problem, execution, like many of the drivers in this series. You might have pace, but with a stacked field like this one, it's very, very tough to make it work all throughout the night. Now, with Gidman in the 4th spot and Trago in 5th, they're both chasing opportunities at a podium that don't come all too often, and right now they're right there. Nick Tarbuck just ahead, and he keeps himself in the 3rd spot as Gidman goes high and Trevor Trago works right down low. 54 laps remaining. It's going to be Jacob Fife right behind the two of them, and they will be side by side looking for the 4th spot. Gidman got the run, and now coming to lap 198, we're looking at 200 very soon, and Ward is lights out count. Unbelievable for Nicholas Ward and this number 97 crew. They have not shown up to any race with this speed ever since Richmond, and now coming back to another short track, it looks like it's time to get redemption. 52 laps to go. The narratives are not yet in place, but if it's Ward who keeps this up all the way, it could be a said and done deal by the end of tonight. Nicholas Ward, looking for the 12th and final playoff spot, sees a yellow flag. Cautions out for Alan Dobbs, and Jorge Canales involved as well. Two lap machines look to be involved with another yellow flag. Let's find out just what happened as they were side by side at the time of the incident. Dobbs up high, Jorge Canales right down low, and it looks like the 84 machine going to be on the bottom side. No issue at this point, but you'll see coming through 1 and 2. And it looks like, yes, it's going to be through the front stretch. Both drivers end up making contact, and by 1 and 2, they're going to be all around each other, and the caution will fly with 50 laps remaining. Jorge Canales and Alan Dobbs both involved, and just like that, the caution flies with the 0-5. This will give Ryan Farrell a better chance, and maybe help Nicholas Ward. That remains to be seen, though. With 49 laps remaining, we will find out as multiple drivers look to go down to the bottom side here for pit road. Now pit stops are going to be active yet again. Some drivers coming in, some drivers choosing not to. It's now the battle between a fresh set of Goodyear rubber and what you got right now and the track position that comes with it. Going to be big, and this could change absolutely everything about this race. 49 laps to go. Let's see what these drivers have in store. Now, important to note that drivers such as Nicholas Ward, Nick Tarbuck, Trevor Trago, Colin Gidman, Ross Cato, Caitlin Height, Guillermo Alvarez, and Jacob Fife all are up at the front of the field, but now with timing and scoring shuffling, not all of them are out on the track. We'll get the overall word in a moment, as you'll see Sam Nito right there. Nito makes it through. He's going to be just ahead of the entirety of this group, but it looks like it'll be Seth Well out first, just ahead of Colin Gidman, Jacob Fife, and Tom Wetmore. 48 laps remaining, and here from Bristol, another wrench in the equation, and this time strategy throws its own curveball. Now 48 laps left, with Nicholas Ward first, Nick Tarbuck second, Trevor Trago in third, and Ross Cato then going to be in fourth. Caitlin Height is in fifth with Guillermo Alvarez, then sixth, and Ryan Farrell seventh, with Seth Wells scored eighth, Colin Gibbons scored ninth, and Jacob Fife in the 10th spot. Now, with a total of 47 laps remaining, the second Next Level Racing promotional break of the night will be underway under caution. You won't miss a thing courtesy of Next Level Racing for high-quality sim racing performance products that are only used by dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com. Second to none in the sim racing equipment industry. If you want the best stuff at the most affordable prices, check out nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast. We'd love to have you check them out here as a proud partner of the Integrity Racing League. We'll be right back after this brief message courtesy of our friends at Next Level Racing. Once again, visit nextlevelracing.com to find out what you can do to up your sim racing game. This time through, it's time to get back to the racing here. It's Nicholas Ward up high and Nick Tarbuck right down low. The racing's back underway with 45 laps remaining. And side by side, one of the most heated battles all season long, it's going to be Nicholas Ward getting the advantage over Tarbuck in the battle of the Nicks comes down to this. If Nick Tarbuck comes through with another race victory, nothing will change in regards to our overall playoff standings. It will be Ryan Farrell or Alan Dobbs. As it stands, it looks to be better in the favor of Farrell, but if he makes another mistake again, that could go back to the favor of course, Alan Dobbs. Right now, though, Nicholas Ward makes all of that invalid, and his presence up at the front of the field changes everything by default. If he gets it done, leads the remainder of this race, or at least leads the final lap, we'll find out. Caution flies. Brad Patton's going to be involved, and Colin Gidman is too. Yellow flag flies again. Let's find out what's going on here. Another caution. This will be the 7th of the night. And taking a look on back to Colin Gidman here, going to be up in front of Tom Wetmore, and it looks like he will take it up high. Brad Patton looked to have been involved, but it looks like that will not be the case. Gidman gets loose, comes up the track, and yes, does catch Brad Patton, but nothing major. However, still a caution all the same. This will be a safety yellow, and the caution flies with 41 laps to go. Back on the way, Nicholas Ward is up in front, and we're back once more with the driver, the number 97, leading the way. It is Ward, then Nick Tarbuck, then Ross Cato. 1, 2, 3. 40 laps to go here in Bristol, and round 23 has been nothing short of an exciting spectacle at the last great coliseum. Now, Bristol Motor Speedway has seen its fair share of great racing, especially recently, but these next gens, they do not seem to go too well with short tracks, especially in the real setting. Here in iRacing, discipline's a bit different, the setups are a bit different too. Everyone on equal equipment, the bodies, the chassis, what have you, these are all going to be performing all around the same. The only difference is the driver and how they will use the car to their advantage. This is the tool, and they must learn how to use it. Ward tonight has been on fire, and it looks like, especially during the short runs, 36 laps on his stint, he is one of the quickest. And right now, 36 laps on his stint, 39 laps to go. If he were to just go the way he's gone and keep it there, he might be solid for a race victory. And that is exactly what he needs. It's a win or nothing for him. It is go big, go home, and it comes down to a walk-off or nothing. Ward trying to get it done. We've seen him consistently put in solid performances, just not able to make it to that final lap when it all matters the most, and that has been his Achilles heel. Now, with 49, make it 39, and even counting down laps remaining, if he makes it through the final stretch on top, he will make it to the playoffs and perhaps give a bit more than what we've seen early and even later in this season. It's not over for Nicholas Ward. That is a certainty, but now the question is, can he bring it all back together and just get it done, keep his composure for the final stint of the race? 38 laps remaining. 213 have been completed, and there's only one more run remaining. It's going to be broken up maybe by cautions. Maybe we go all the way green, but this is going to be a flat-out flying stint. You give it all you got, or you've got nothing at all. That's the mentality for Ward. Every other driver, they are getting closer to the end too, and some drivers we have not mentioned are still there. There are drivers, of course, like Trevor Trago. Trago, while not, of course, up in front in the bubble battle, he still has a chance to get it done, and that will be major for him because he still is part of the minimum participation requirement group that indeed made all the starts needed. He is in 5th right now. We haven't talked about him. He is not a major threat so far, but that could change. He's got a top 5 position, and this could be the restart that makes the difference. Ward, first, pit road, it's going to be for the pace car, but the field gets back on the move. 36 laps remaining. It's Ward up in front, Nick Tarbuck right behind. Nicholas Ward's got it up in front of Seth Well and Nick Tarbuck. They'll be fighting side by side just behind Tom Wetmore. He is, and right now Wetmore's going to be battling with the best of them, watching a front row seat with a playoff picture just ahead. Now this is intense as it can get. Seth Well knows the implications of this race for not only himself but for the drivers all around him. Nicholas Ward needs this win more than any other driver in this upfront battle, save for maybe Trevor Trago, and even then, Ward's now having himself another struggle on the high side. Seth Wells right there. He boxes him in. Nick Tarbuck's there too. It's going to be the bumper to Seth Well. He'll go right to the bottom, and Seth Wells saves it. Big move. The nine's in the wall, and Ryan Farrell will go around. The caution's out, and Ryan Farrell once again in trouble. And it looked to be a walkaway. Not any longer. Farrell once again involved, and the caution flies. Now things are getting dicey here in Bristol. Maybe the race's conclusion is not too close to us as we once again extend the race under a yellow. Ryan Farrell is going to be involved, and it looks like for him, the incident that brought out the yellow all comes down to this number 93 and Sam Nito. It looks like Seth Well able to keep it together for the most part, but Farrell goes around, and that's what causes the caution. Yellow flag's out, 31 laps to go, and we're seeing some desperation all throughout here. Nick Tarbuck has that race lead. Tom Wetmore is there in second. Nicholas Ward is in third. And Ward, who has been up there all night long, got really pushed around, and he took the pushing right back, but he took it quite literally there, putting some contact to Seth Well, having none of it, and sending Seth outside of the top 5. He's now in 9th, and it looks like it's going to be the number 97 of Nicholas Ward fading back into 3rd. He's looked good so far to have a chance to come through, and Ward just disconnected. Now, pending confirmation, this could be the end of his run. Now he's back, and those are the moments that have made this season so frustrating for Ward, as now he finds himself in the front row seat to maybe change it. He disconnected for quite some time there, to the point he was almost outside of the top 15 on scoring, and if he waited any longer, or if his internet were to not connect any quicker, that could have been the difference between staying up here and eventually finding himself outside of the picture entirely, out of the race, disconnected. Those are the moments that you only see in virtual racing here on the sim, but they also provide the drama and the flair for the, of course, quite wild that we see in real racing all throughout. Nick Tarbuck leads the way, and the number 4 finds himself out in front. We mentioned something, and we didn't go back to it. Real racing, sim racing. There's, of course, a major connection. Right now, if you want to join, the best way to get into motorsport, no matter how much you make, no matter who you are, no matter what you represent yourself as on the virtual sim, you can find that way right now for as cheap as it can get. iRacing Motorsport Simulations are now selling their product, their memberships, for 40% off of the iRacing.com website. Visit iRacing.com to find out more information about the world's leading online simulator with over 100 cars and tracks available for use on day-to-day operations. You can become a professional in virtual stock car racing, virtual open wheel racing, virtual dirt racing, anything and all of the above. From the classics of the 1970s and 80s all the way up to modern racing, iRacing has it covered. And if you want to find out more, courtesy of our friends at eNASCAR, be sure to check out the official eNASCAR newsletter powered by iRacing. That's the best place to find anything out about iRacing, changing the formula here for stock cars on iRacing. Of course, the new damage model coming to the NASCAR Xfinity cars. In addition, the Coke Series wrapping up their playoffs. Big news there. If you want to enter the game, that is, of course, sim racing as a whole, find yourself on the sim and race with the best, check out the official eNASCAR newsletter by scanning the QR code on your screen. We'd love to have you on eNASCAR and iRacing as FTN brings it all the coverage live in the Integrity Octane Series tonight. And now, 26 green laps remain. It's going to be Tom Wetmore down low, looking for win 5. Nick Tarbuck getting the jump, looking for his second. Green flag's out. Tarbuck leads. We're back on our way. side by side with 25 laps remaining. All of a sudden, it's going to be Tom Wetmore with a chance for the race victory. Looks like Nicholas Ward now fading back a bit further. He's got some tire wear to worry about compared to most of the field. He's on an older set of 51 laps exactly. And Tom Wetmore with a newer set, 24 laps. He's got himself up in front. Now it's going to be Wetmore leading the way with 24 laps remaining, coming out of 23. And since these laps are so quick at Bristol, let's get right into it here and now. TrackCams22.com, we're going to crank it up with the best cameras on the iRacing platform, giving us wonderful onboard shots tonight on FTN. So let's get it done uninterrupted with the best cameras on the iRacing platform. With 22 laps to go, let's crank it up, courtesy of TrackCams22.com. And the caution will fly with a total of only 16 laps remaining. Looks like some trouble in the back half of the field. And just like that, yellow is out. Trouble, back half. Alan Dobbs might be the cause. Let's take a look back right now and find out just what happened, as Dobbs looks to be on some above average pace during the caution lap. So maybe the number 05 is involved. Looks like Jorge Canales there, and some contact once again between these two. Both lap machines, so not sure what's going on here, but another incident between the both of them, and Dobbs is involved. And 17th place, Alan Dobbs involved with the caution. Looks like Jorge Canales scored in 20th is there as well. And once again, an incident as we find ourselves under yellow with 14 laps remaining. Tom Wetmore leads, and he looks to lead the field on the track, not on pit road. The choice has not yet been made to go on the pit road, so it looks like they will stay on the track. Now, with this in mind, we've got a few more things to walk through during our yellow flag. First of which, if you're watching on FTN right now, fantastic to have you. You will be here for, I think, a little bit longer than this race will be. We'll send you automatically to our next broadcast if you stick with us. The Highline Racing League Culture Designs Truck Series is coming up very soon. Of course, their conclusion is, right now, they're already live, and they still have about 5 laps remaining, so they might just send it our way. The way things are going, we might end a bit earlier, and that looks to be another race to keep an eye out for. So far, the driver leading up in front on our other broadcast is Dylan Petit, and Dylan finds himself up in front once again, looking for another race victory. He's got some close competition there. Keep an eye out, because if you are going to be sent there, we'll let you know. As it stands, though, it's going to go the other way around. One more thing before the racing gets back on our way with such a small amount of laps ahead. We're going to go to our final Next Level Racing promotional break. NextLevelRacing.com provides high-quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. We'll be going back in just a moment to the racing, but before then, take a look at our final presentation, courtesy of our friends at Next Level Racing, providing the best sim racing products on the market since 2009. we come back now, it's only going to be 10 laps remaining. When we get back to green, set to be only 9. It's going to be a single-digit dash, and it's going to come down to this. This is the run for every driver who wants to make it through. The playoffs are all up to this moment. Is it going to be Nicholas Ward, who's faded back to now 11th? Will it be, of course, the driver of the 05 and Alan Dobbs, or with Ryan Farrell having the track position, will he make all the moves necessary to come through on top? That remains to be seen as we come down to the green flag yet again. Green is out with 10 laps remaining. Let's get it done with Whitmore up in front, Nick Tarbuck fading back. And at the line, Tom Wetmore finds himself up in front. He's got that race lead, and Nick Tarbuck still holds his own right there in second. It's going to be 1-2 between the 51 and the number 4. Guillermo Alvarez in third. The caution flies yet again. Colin Gidman, Randy Fiash. We're back under yellow, and it looks like it's going to come down to an even shorter restart. Let's take a look at what just happened here as we go under caution once again. And I think on this note, it will be certain that the drivers, of course, in the Integrity Octane Series will go a bit longer than those who are in the Truck Series, broadcasted by Alexander Balderas tonight. Now, we're taking a look back at Colin Gidman, and you'll see right now, right behind, it looks like Randy Fish just gets loose and tags Gidman. And it's been a great night for Colin, but it looks like once again, the final few moments of the race do not match up with what he's had in terms of pace all night long. A troublesome conclusion for Colin Gidman, running oh so well tonight, but now fading further back. 7 laps to go. He'll be scored in 15th, and not good at all for the man in that number, well, 04. Randy Fish, not good either in the 19, both of which not able to make much happen in the later portions of this race. Looks like Alan Dobbs will now be on the move, and he's going to be getting his lap back, so all of a sudden, maybe there's a chance for a final moment move. Dobbs, 17th, final man on that lead lap, now has one more chance to get it done. And for Tom Wetmore, only 7 laps remain until this race is over. Can he hold on Nick Tarbuck that much longer is the big question. Guillermo Alvarez is looking for his second win of the season. Got his first at Daytona, but since then he's been quite hot. Got a podium immediately thereafter at Watkins Glen, and now is in contention for yet another podium and even another race win. 6 laps to go. We're estimated to go green with 4 laps remaining, which means that by all accounts, this is most likely going to be the final restart unless there's an immediate caution that comes out the moment we go back green. 6 laps remaining, and it all comes down to Tom Wetmore up in front, Nick Tarbuck in second, and Guillermo Alvarez is there with Jacob Fife not too far behind. It looks like the most dependable drivers all season long are now in the picture for the win, and the underdogs have slowly but surely faded out of view. This time by, the iRacing pace cars lights will remain on, and it looks like we'll be going back green with 3 laps remaining instead. So not going to be the anticipated 4. It's going to be even shorter. This is going to be one finish to remember, and it looks like right now it's going to be a short dash, 1.5 miles at the most. And with the way this track functions like a bull ring, it's going to go by in nothing flat. Blink and you miss it. That's the way this race is going to finish, and it looks like right now we are set to go for this restart. Looks to be the 9th of the day. Wetmore leading through, and right behind you'll see Tarbuck and Alvarez, all of which are prepared for this moment. Green flag set to come out in a 1/2 mile, and it's going to be 4 laps to go. A 3-lap dash to get this one done. Wetmore, Tarbuck, first and second. Time to see who can prove their worth and come through with the win. Side by side, double file all over again. Let's get back to it this time and see who's got it and who does not. The regular season depends on this one, and it's going to come down to if there's an underdog winner or if the same up in front keep their crown. 3 laps to go. This time by, and it's going to be Wetmore up high and Tarbuck down low. Green flags out yet again. Tom Wetmore with a blinding start. And it looks like at the line, 2 laps to go. Some trouble for Nicholas Ward. Yellow flag flies. We're going to overtime as Ward finds himself squirrely at the line. This will send us into overtime. And just before we make it to the white, as we said, if there's any way to make it longer, unexpected yellow. Nicholas Ward going around. Looks to bring out that caution. And now will be a surefire green, white, checkered. Let's take a look further back and find out what happened here. Ward takes a 3 in desperation, banged up by Nino, then Cody Smith gonna clear him out, and that's what brings us back under caution. And now it's time to see what these guys have left. It's gonna be an overtime shootout, Wetmore leading, and it's your 10th caution of the day, leading into your 10th restart. Let's finish this one off in style. It's gonna be an overtime, the last great Coliseum, and fewer things in life go better together than an overtime and Bristol Motor Speedway. Now, Nicholas Ward going to be lined up there in the 17th spot. Tom Wetmore going to be up in front in the number 51. And he is almost there in regards to making it through. And it looks like right now he's almost there for his 5th win of the season. A dominant campaign from start to finish, from open to close. And now, well, of course, he's back up there looking to do it all over again. Now, dominance, we say open to close, is not necessarily entirely the case. He's been up in front for the good majority of it, but drivers who have come and go at the lead have not been able to stick it. Wetmore's been consistently inside that top 5 bracket, and that's what allows a driver to consistently enter the leading pack, and that's how Wetmore was able to develop his line, develop the racing, and eventually come through to make it a race-winning effort. Now, it's not over yet. It's a race-winning effort, yes, but it's not a race to win. He's still got a lot more to do to seal that deal, so he'll find out whether or not he still has that in store. The number 51 machine of Wetmore is there with the track position, but it might not be enough if Nick Tarbuck has a bit more. Maybe Jacob Fife does. Maybe even Guillermo Alvarez. They're all still there, and they all have a chance to joust for the top spot. It's not a done deal, but maybe in the case that Wetmore has enough, it's going to be that blinding restart that changes everything and keeps Tom Wetmore where he needs to be. Wetmore, the number 51, is in first. Nick Tarbuck there in second. And it's going to come down to, when it comes to the regular season race as it stands, 2 drivers. Alan Dobbs in 16th and Ryan Farrell in 7th. Dobbs won tonight's stage. Got all the bonus points there. Ryan Farrell able to barely scrape some points by in the bonus. Now that could be the difference too. Positions and of course the stage. Those both determine who will get it done and make it into the playoffs, but it's not a certainty yet. What is a certainty is that this will be the run that gets us to the finish. Of course, this is your first overtime attempt. If we get the white flag, it is official. Checkers or wreckers. If not, we'll go at it once again, but it's only going to come down to 1 more mile around the last great Coliseum. Wetmore leads, Nick Tarbuck there second, and it's going to be a side-by-side battle between 2 of the best all season long. Your winningest driver and a driver still looking to get into the crooked numbers. Double digits, top 10s, top 5s, but tonight he's chasing that win. Green flags out with Wetmore getting another great start. He's back out in front with 2 laps remaining. And Wetmore does everything you can ask of out of a driver there on that jump, which leaves us with only 1 more lap of racing. Tom Wetmore out in front. The white flag's already waving, and the Tube Tech Chevrolet is out there with that race lead. It's going to take a lunge from Nick Tarbuck, which will put him in 3 and 4. But for the number 51, representing the Tide Ride, he's a 5-time winner coming into the playoffs. It's Tom Wetmore scoring his 5th win of the season at Bristol, and he dominates the final stage of this race, and the last great Coliseum is his after all. Tom Wetmore, by far the most dominant man this season to this point, gets it done again and comes through with the win here in Bristol. It's Wetmore back on top with the Tube Tech throwback. Wetmore comes through, gets it done yet again, and let's take a look through your results before we head to our burnout and our top 3 interviews. Tom Wetmore gets it through over Nick Tarbuck, 1/10 of a second behind, with Guillermo Alvarez 3rd, Seth Well in 4th, and Jacob Fife them in 5th. It's going to be Caitlin Height 6th, and then Sam Nito in 7th. Your Polster are able to recover to get a top 10, and Cody Smith comes through 8th with Ryan Farrell 9th. We'll see if it's either Ryan Farrell or Alan Dobbs inside of our playoffs, with Trevor Trago 10th, and then from there, Alan Rawell 11th, Donald Gimman 12th, Brad Patton in 13th, and Nicholas Ward in 14th. Then going to be Ross Cato 15th with Randy 5 16th, Alan Dobbs 17th, Bobby Ross going to be 18th with Eric McFarland 19th as a retiree, and Jorge Canales then 20th. Going to be Kyle Cooper 21st, and to round out the pack, Don Stevenson 22nd as our winning man gets it done. 5th race win, burning down the house here in Bristol. And coming out of the start-finish line yet again, Tom Wetmore gets the celebration on the move. And as Wetmore continues his pacing around the track, coming through to the start-finish line all over again, the last great coliseum has been conquered. Wetmore gets it done, 5th win of the season, and just like that, the number 51 finds himself back in victory lane. Set to park it there on the front stretch, burning it down one more time and putting it at the checkered line. Just like that, Wetmore back on top, and the number 51 puts himself up in front, head and shoulders of the playoff field. Tom Wetmore and the number 51 team come through yet again, and your Tube Tech Chevrolet is back in victory lane for an all-high 5th win of the championship tour. How do you feel so far?
It feels good to be here. I mean, it's you don't doubt the tide ride on the outside, man, and we were lucky enough to get ourselves some fresh tire strategy after what was possibly the worst first half of a race a fella can have. So means a lot to run with these Integrity Racing boys. A lot of really clean drivers out here with got Nick Trebush giving us all the beans without anything malicious, but to come out of here with Bristol and pull down another win at a concrete track means a lot to this entire Tube Tech Chevrolet Camaro team. So,
and it's a big race, of course, for momentum in the championship race. The playoffs are coming up soon, so getting it done here puts yourself in an advantage going into the most important section of the championship hunt, of course, the playoffs, where it matters. So getting this win right before, how is that for the team looking forward?
it's incredible momentum. I mean, to be able to have pulled down as many wins as we have this season, some of it has been speed, a lot of it, like tonight, has been putting ourselves in the right place at the right time. And with the protection of these attorneys at Robin Steele, attorneys at law, on our side, it helps us protect us when things go wrong. And I don't know if you guys on the broadcast saw it tonight, but things went wrong at the stage end there. We hooked one of our friends, Brad, at the caution there and gave him some damage, which really sucked when we were just trying to give him a push across the line. So hate causing damage to any of my fellow competitors, especially on a tight track like Bristol where you want to be the guy not involved in anything. But I know he got what I felt like was the worst end of the deal of it. So to put one in victory lane, while I know he had the speed to win tonight too, it certainly stinks, but we're fortunate to park it here. Like I said, this Tube Tech Tide Ride looking good tonight under the lights, and couldn't have done it without the support of Live the Night, and not just their DJ stuff, but a lot of their paint design work has helped make some of our cars look different this year.
And looking forward to another great leg of the tour. This number 51 has been on rails for the good majority of the season. And with Darlington coming up, I'd expect more of the same. With all this momentum, all the buffering and points coming through, 5 wins, there's no reason to say it can't be added to even further. And Darlington is right up next to open the round of 12. What's it going to take to keep this movement going and perhaps put yourself in another great position for a win?
Great question, David. I mean, coming into the first round of the playoffs next week at Darlington, I can tell you the tiger stripes on Guillermo, his paint job tonight, certainly going to look like the stripes on the side of this Tube Tech Chevy Camaro next week at Darlington. So hopefully we can keep it off the wall and keep it clean a little bit. But I know a little bit better after some of the practice we got last night with Monday's Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Series. So you can expect to see this baby running high, wide, and handsome up in that $30 t-shirt line, and see if we can't get ourselves a win next week. But God, man, I don't know if you noticed tonight, but with enough lead changes and stuff we had going on, none of these wins come easy, man. And thanks to a lot of the clean racing and some of the strategy that's put forth by these Integrity boys, it's the reason why this league's some of the best in the business, man.
And it hasn't been easy all season long, but Wetmore, the performances have been always up in front, top notch. Tom Wetmore, 51 machine, takes the Tide Ride back into victory lane. Before the playoffs get on the move, anything else you'd like to add?
No, just got to thank all the people who helped us get here. We're closing out the playoffs today. Got to thank the guys at Ty Drifts. Find them on Twitch, Ty_Drifts. Definitely helping us out this season. As well as the boys out of Atlanta, Georgia with Garage Moon Power. If you guys are looking for some car accessories that are a little bit more unique to personalize your ride, look up Garage Moon Power. Between that and all of our partners on board, helps us fight to hopefully take home that next level racing rig. See if I can't take some of my rig stuff to the next level. I currently have a set of pedals propped up on a 2x4 and a wheel mounted to a desk. So if I can get myself a rig through next level racing after this season, we'll certainly be in a lot better shape.
And so far, one of the biggest runs in the title fight, looking for that big championship prize. Tom Wetmore adds another win to the market's 5th of the season here at the last great Coliseum. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, David. Have a great night.
There we have it, Tom Wetmore on the move in the number 51 machine. The next man on the order, Nick Tarbuck, oh so close yet again, and his consistency with podiums locked him into the championship chase. Once again, runner-up. It's Nick Tarbuck, the number 4 machine, getting it through for a runner-up finish and second place here at Bristol in an overall chaotic night. How was it for you to pull it home and get it done in second?
Yeah, man, it was a good race. Not much practice time, and this track is insanely fast. It changes a lot throughout the run because it goes from day to night. So, yeah, I can't complain with second. The tire strategy there at the end, I didn't take tires when I should have, so I was running like 30-lap older tires than a lot of the other guys up there. But I was able to hang on. I think if it had gone green from like lap 240, probably, instead of like going, 3 different cautions and going overtime, I probably would have had them. I was just a little bit quicker, I think, but we never know. Second's not too bad, though.
And keeping that consistency up right before the playoffs, another very strong run for this team, and that's especially what matters in tire strategy. Looks like you were one of the drivers who ran it the longest of anyone, 80 laps on that final stint. How was it managing tires all night long?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I mean, you really didn't want to burn off the right front, so you had to really be easy on it. So it was smart running the bottom for a good. As soon as you could get to the bottom, it was good to run the bottom. But other than that, it's just managing the brake bias, making sure you don't make the right rear overheat too much, and just keeping it balanced. It was fun. It was fast. It's Bristol. It's pretty planted. So all in all, I mean, it was a fun car to drive tonight.
Looks like the car held up well all throughout, and from Bristol, one of our shortest tracks, up to the track 2 Tough to Tame. Darlington right up next on the schedule to open up the playoffs. What's it going to take to solidify yourself as a title contender?
Yeah, I mean, according to a discussion I had with a co-driver, it's going to take a lot of practice. So I'm probably going to try to get some practice in this week. Might be tough in the middle of like 8 different essays, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah, it's just going to take consistency again. I think if it's really that tough, it's just going to take being smart and letting the war of attrition play out, and letting everybody else wreck out, and then we'll come home with another solid finish. I think if I've understood correctly, I think I did win the regular season championship, so that's a good head start in the playoffs. Get some playoff points for that, I believe. Either way, just trying to keep the consistency going, trying to keep it smart. Darlington's tough track, but I'm sure it'll be all right.
And looking to keep it going, the momentum has been solid for this team all throughout, and it looks like, as you mentioned, very good in the regular season. No reason not to see it in the playoffs. Nick Tarbuck, second of the night. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, good win, Tom. Thanks to you for broadcasting. Thanks to the admins for putting on a good race. Thanks everybody for showing up. Numbers are staying up throughout the season, which is good. Still need everybody else to show up, though. Come on, guys. And thanks to everybody who watched, friends, family. And we'll see you all next week.
And there we have it. Nick Tarbuck to round out, of course, with the second spot here in the regular season. Runner-up in Bristol. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, too, sir. See you.
But Nick Tarbuck back on the move. The second place driver comes through the number 4. Guillermo Alvarez keeping it hot. Another podium going to be his third of the second half. Guillermo Alvarez third place on the day in the number 83 Bristol Motor Speedway, coming through on the third spot. How do you feel?
Exhausted. It was a terrible race, especially with how the practice went. Was just burning up the right front, and I was just not hoping to finish anywhere close to a top 10. So we kind of snuck into a top 5 and even a third place. So we made it.
And tires a very big struggle for a lot of drivers tonight. Seems like they wore out quite quick. So how was it for you to manage it, especially with so many restarts on the last run?
Well, the result wasn't a big deal. It was just having a long run, especially a long run, and with how aggressive you are on the top side. The front tires just go away too fast. I was burning them up on practice with like 50 laps. I just stuck to the inside line. Tires were good, and in the end, just a good tire strategy is what got us up to the front. And it's usually, and also the cautions, just the usual suspect. Bringing out the cautions in the end was just a little too much. But anyways, we saved it.
And saving it all up till the very end to get another podium just before the playoffs, and some big momentum. Multiple podiums, a win at Daytona, looking very solid heading into Darlington. What's it going to take to keep this going and perhaps put up a championship fight here in the round of 12?
Skipping it away from the wall, just scraping it, and Darlington is a good place for me. I just probably not in the league, because every time we race there, I end up with a DNF, but we'll see. I think it'll be good.
Looking to keep things going strong as of recent. Guillermo Alvarez, third place on the day here in the number 83 Frosted Flake Chevy. Anything else you'd like to add?
Just thank you guys for the stream, all the broadcast, and everyone in the league.
And there we have it. The number 83 comes home third yet again, consistently hitting those podiums. It's Guillermo Alvarez, third place on the day here for the last great Coliseum. Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys.
With Alvarez on the move, the final man in your podium, you just heard from him, getting it done in third after 256 laps of action. Hard fought from the start to the finish, and it shows how these drivers were working it lap after lap. Great overall performance from every driver. Going to thank Guillermo and, of course, Yancey Wetmore coming through in the chat room. Greatly appreciate the support as well. Another fun night on FTN here with a Tuesday night doubleheader. We'll be back on a Wednesday for another great showing of the 4 Cup Series. I believe they'll be at Pocono for 225 miles. And a Thursday night doubleheader. Going to be a big show with the Iora Cup Series coming back. And immediately thereafter, the Highline Racing League taking on another challenge. I believe up next on the schedule, we will be looking at, and I'll take a look at it right now just to confirm everything. Coming off of a great race at Rockingham, we'll be heading into Atlanta, so keep an eye out for that. We're sure to see another great race on Thursdays as well. Gonna thank every viewer for stopping by, watching the performance here in the 23rd round of the 2023 Integrity Octane Series season. The regular season's over. Now, we are on to our playoffs. As always, I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. All support is greatly appreciated here on FTN. And if you didn't enjoy tonight's streams, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast of the Integrity Octane Series. And we hope to see you as viewers once again on FTN. Thank you all for your immense support, and we hope you all have a great night.